The first time I saw him sleeping in that chair, I almost laughed. Italian leather, half a bottle of whiskey on the side table, $15,000 scattered across the desk like confetti. And this man thought I was being tested. He had no idea. The day of the money test, I pushed my cleaning cart into his office like I did every afternoon. Quiet. Invisible. That's how they want people like me to be. Mr. Richard Blackwell was in his armchair, head tilted back, eyes closed, breathing just a little too carefully. I'd grown up around real sleep. My mama after a double shift, my grandma snoring with the Bible open on her chest. And let me tell you, rich people fake nap is its own category. My gaze went to the desk. Money, so much of it, just lying there in messy piles. $100 bills everywhere, like someone had emptied a small bank and walked away. 3 weeks earlier, another cleaner had been fired from this house. Theft, they said. I didn't believe it. Not because I knew her, but because I knew them. Rich men don't fire poor workers over principle, only over power. I stepped closer to the desk. The air smelled like expensive cologne and arrogance. I could feel him watching me from behind his eyelids, waiting, measuring. Lord, I thought, this man really thinks I came all the way into his house just to trip over the first trap he sets. So I did exactly what he didn't expect. I picked up the money, carefully, gently. I straightened each bill, stacked them into perfect piles, just like my brother used to do when he practiced accounting with play money at the kitchen table. And then I took a sticky note from my bag, clicked my pen and wrote, Mr. Blackwell, your money was messy. I organized it for you. P.S. My grandmother always said tested money is wasted money. Have a blessed day. Diana, I stuck it right on top of the stacks, like a little yellow flag on a battlefield. Then I went right back to dusting shelves and wiping his window, humming one of Grandma's old gospel songs under my breath. If you're gonna test me, you're at least gonna get a clean office out of it. I finished my work, rolled my cart out, closed the door softly, and didn't look back. But I imagined his face when he read that note. And for the first time since I took that job, I smiled. Why I really went into that house. To him, I was just the new black maid from Detroit. To me, he was the man who murdered my brother without ever touching him. Marcus was 25 when he got his dream job as an accounting intern at one of Blackwell's subsidiaries. First in our family to get a degree. Graduated with honors. That boy could make numbers sing. He called me one night, voice shaking. "Dee, something's wrong with the books," he said. "Money's moving where it shouldn't. Big amounts, fake projects, shell companies. It leads back to corporate." I remember going quiet. The way you do when you realize the monster you're staring at is real. "Report it," I told him. "Do the right thing." He did. A week later, he was fired. For stealing office supplies. Pens and notepads everybody took home. They didn't just take his job. They took his reputation. Every interview after that, the same story. "We checked your record. Dismissal for cause. We'll be in touch." They never were. Marcus got quiet. Then he got tired. Then he got drunk. 18 months later, I was picking out a casket for my baby brother. At the hospital, going through his things, I found a folder. My name was written on it in his messy all caps. Inside were copies of everything. Emails, spreadsheets, wire transfers, bribe logs. All of it pointing to corruption at Blackwell Corporation. And to one name over and over again. Richard Blackwell. That was the day I stopped being just a sister in mourning. That was the day I started planning. Becoming just the maid. I studied that man's life like it was a final exam. His routines, his parties, his charity events, his tests. How he fired people, how he scared them. How he made sure nobody got close enough to hurt him. Then they posted a job. Live-in housekeeper needed. Discretion required. Experience preferred. I applied. With my real name, my real references, my real degree buried quietly at the bottom of my CV like it didn't matter. Because to men like him, it doesn't. When they hired me, I thanked God, my grandmother, and every angel that ever watched over stubborn black women with a mission. In his mansion, I moved like air. Quiet. Ignored. Present for everything. He thought he was testing me with money, laptops, unlocked phones. He'd leave his computer open with fake layoff plans. His phone with big numbers on the screen. Wallets spread on tables. I closed everything, organized it all, hummed my gospel songs, and pretended I didn't see a thing. What he didn't know was, I was memorizing his passwords reflected in glass when he typed. I'd mapped every camera in that house and every blind spot. I knew he left his office unlocked for exactly 17 minutes every morning when he went to shower after his run. And in those 17 minutes, for months, I took photos, balance sheets, offshore accounts, fake contracts, bribes, donation schemes, threats to journalists. Every time he humiliated someone downstairs, I walked upstairs and quietly took one more brick out of his empire's foundation. He thought he was the hunter, but Grandma always said, the hunter who mocks the footprints sometimes walks right into the trap. The offer I refused. He cornered me in the kitchen one Thursday. I was making coffee, stirring sugar like we were just two people having a normal day. Diana, he said, leaning against the counter like a king bored with his castle. Tell me the truth. Have you ever felt tempted here? For what? I asked, not looking up. Opportunities, he said. Information. Objects nobody would miss. Contacts. You're around a lot of power. I kept stirring. Mr. Blackwell, my grandmother always said, those who chase fake gold never find real diamonds. He frowned. What's that supposed to mean? It means maybe you're looking for the wrong things in the wrong people, I said, pouring his coffee. I placed it in front of him with a napkin folded into a little swan. Something pretty, delicate, and completely unnecessary. Just like his tests. Then I walked away. He had his security team dig into my life that night. I know because I heard the phone calls. I wanted him to. He found no criminal record, degree from community college, single mother, sick mama at home, volunteer work, and one line that must have made his heart stutter. Younger brother, Marcus Washington, former employee of Blackwell Corp., deceased. He didn't remember Marcus. Men like him don't remember the names of the people they crush. But I did. Every second. Turning his party into evidence. When he told me to organize a last-minute dinner for his investor friends, I knew it for what it was. Another test. Don't disappoint me, he said. These men move millions. They're not used to simplicity. He had no idea how many times I'd fed 200 people at church with a pot of rice, 3 chickens, and faith. I said, of course, Mr. Blackwell. Any menu preference? Surprise me! Oh, I would. That morning, a blue Honda Civic pulled up in the back. Out came James Carter, former FBI, now private investigator. The first man who didn't laugh when I showed him the folder Marcus left behind. The first one who didn't say, this is too big, let it go. You sure you want to do this? He asked me as we walked through the service corridor. My brother did the right thing and died for it, I said. Someone has to finish what he started. We checked the cameras, confirmed the blind spots. I showed him where I stored the files, where the audio devices would go. That night, as I served salmon and mushroom risotto to rich men with dirty souls, every word they said was being recorded. They talked about bribing senators, silencing reporters, cleaning money through charities. One of them laughed and said, the problem with these journalists is they don't understand some truths are inconvenient for progress. Richard replied, that's why we have lawyers, and other methods when lawyers aren't enough. My hands didn't even shake as I refilled their glasses, because every syllable that came out of their mouths was another link in the chain that would drag them down. People like you. After the guests left, he called me to the living room, glass of whiskey in hand, fake warmth in his voice. Impressive, Diana. Really impressive, he said. I might have underestimated you. Thank you, Mr. Blackwell. Actually, I'm thinking of a promotion, he went on. Managing some of my corporate events. Pays much better than cleaning bathrooms. I appreciate the offer, I said. But I'm happy with my job. He stared at me like I'd spoken in another language. Happy cleaning houses? Please, Diana, be realistic. People like you don't have many options in life. This is a golden opportunity. People like me? I repeated, my heart beating hard, but my voice steady. You know, he said, waving his hand. Women from your social level. Single mothers. No real college degree. The world is cruel. I'm offering you an escape from mediocrity. I took a breath. Mr. Blackwell, I said. My grandmother always said not to confuse opportunity with charity. and that sometimes accepting charity from certain people costs more than you can imagine. He smirked. Your grandmother has a saying for everything. She must have been very wise, for someone from your background. She was, I said, and she also said, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. For the first time, I saw something flash in his eyes. Something close to unease. But he brushed it off, because in his mind, I was still just the maid. The night the truth went live. His annual charity ball was the perfect stage. 300 of the most powerful people in California. Red carpet, cameras, live broadcast. Diana, he said that week, straightening his tie in the mirror. I want you to coordinate everything. My gift to you, a chance to shine. Very generous, Mr. Blackwell, I replied. And wear a nice dress, he added. I don't want you to feel out of place among my guests. I smiled. Don't worry, I have exactly what I need. What I had was my grandmother's navy blue dress. The one she sewed for my college graduation. The degree I earned studying at night, raising my daughter, working 2 jobs. The degree this man assumed I didn't have. That night, the hotel ballroom sparkled. Cameras flashed. Richard glided across the room like a king at a coronation. He nodded toward me once, as if to say, look what I gave you. He had no idea what I was about to take. At 9 p.m., he stepped onto the stage. Lights dimmed. Microphones picked up his voice. Ladies and gentlemen, he began, welcome to our annual event to support underprivileged children. In my hand, I held a small device James had wired into the main sound system. My palms were sweaty, but my fingers were steady. We believe education is the path to lifting people from disadvantaged backgrounds. I pressed the button. His live speech cut out. His recorded voice filled the room instead. The problem with these reporters is they don't understand certain truths are inconvenient for progress. That's why we have lawyers, and other methods when lawyers aren't enough. Silence, then confusion, then horror. He rushed to the podium, trying to cut the sound, but I'd already killed the local controls. The entire ballroom was his confession box now. People like you don't have many options in life. This is an opportunity to escape mediocrity. The cameras caught everything. The big screens showed his face as his own words betrayed him. I walked toward the stage, not rushing, not hiding. My knees were weak, but my purpose held me up. I took the central mic when the recording ended. The room was so quiet, I could hear my own heartbeat. My name is Diana Washington, I said. My voice didn't shake. God held it for me. 3 years ago, my brother Marcus worked for Blackwell Corporation. He reported irregularities in the books. He was fired for stealing office supplies. As a way to silence him, that false accusation destroyed his career. He fell into depression and died 18 months ago. I paused. I let that sink in. He was 28. I saw some people cover their mouths. Some looked down. For months, working in Mr. Blackwell's house, I have collected evidence of crimes, including money laundering, tax evasion, bribery, and intimidation. All of this, recordings, documents, photographs, has already been delivered to the FBI and the IRS. Richard started toward me. Security, briefed by James hours before, stepped in front of him. Diana, please, he begged, his voice suddenly small. Mr. Blackwell, I said, looking him in the eye. My grandmother always said the truth is like water. It always finds its way to the surface. Marcus tried to bring it up and was destroyed. Tonight, it has finally arrived. Right on cue, the doors opened. Federal agents walked in. Cameras swung toward them like a flock of birds. Richard Blackwell, the lead agent said, voice booming. You are under arrest for money laundering, tax evasion, bribery, and conspiracy against justice. The sound of handcuffs closing around his wrists was not satisfying exactly. It was necessary. James appeared at the side of the stage and whispered, Marcus would be proud. I believed him. 6 months later, now when I unlock my office door and see Washington Consulting, Ethical Auditing on the glass, I still feel like I'm stepping into someone else's life. But it's mine. Companies hire me to find the dirt before it buries them. The Marcus Washington Foundation helps workers who've been silenced, threatened, or smeared for telling the truth. My daughter Keisha goes to a good school now, the kind Marcus dreamed our kids would go to. Mom, my teacher wants you to speak at our school, she told me one afternoon, holding a flyer with my face on it. The woman who toppled an empire of corruption. Across town, Richard reads about me from a prison cell. He still can't believe someone he called people like you could take him down. But Grandma was right. True strength isn't in humiliating others. It's in lifting up those the world tried to bury. Every Friday, I visit Marcus's grave. I bring fresh flowers and sit with him in the quiet. We did it, little brother, I tell him. The truth came out. The wind moves through the trees, and I like to think that's him answering. Richard wanted to test my honesty. He ended up testing my patience, and my patience outlived his empire. Because in the end, the best revenge wasn't watching him fall. It was building something he never believed someone like me could have. A life, a purpose, a legacy that turns pain into justice for others. He pretended to be asleep to test his black maid, but I was wide awake the entire time,